Control is understanding truthfulness and then being truthful. And then when you're being truthful, it's being able to sustain and and appreciate the gift of life, with control. And that's not happening. Where we don't have truthful people sustaining with truthfulness, that reflect the beauty of the gift of life, and then people see chaos, and it's not chaos. If you look at volcanoes and things and stuff like that, they're not chaos. They're people say that about the womb with the sperm and the egg and stuff, and they say it's like surviving chaos, and it's like, no, you're looking at it all wrong. You're looking at it from a scientific point of view. You're not looking at it from appreciation of the gift of life view. You're not being intuitive. You're being scientific. And so you're breaking everything down to the most minute detail, and you're studying things like I said about people, who knows why someday we all must die, because it's a life sacrifice. And if you live forever, there's no meaning to Holy Covenant, sexual reproduction. There's no meaning to it at all. It's absolutely meaningless. It's just an act, like an instinctual act. So you just do it because it would be necessary to keep doing. And so a lot of people, it is just an instinctual act. And apparently it's a lot more people than I ever imagined or thought. That sex isn't meaningful. Like Amy used to tell me that sex is just sex. It's like, oh no, it's not. It's not true. But for a lot of people, and most people, I think it is. I mean, yeah, it feels good. But it feels good for different reasons. People that use sex to manipulate, the manipulation feels good to them. Getting what you want, feeling in power, being able to manipulate everybody in the room. And so, to me, when I was, because I was, from the time I was young, because I was the best athlete and I was intelligent and kind and stuff like that. I didn't know it, because when you go to school, you think, because I was skinny like Ralph Macchio and stuff like that, but I was a way better athlete than Daniel on Karate Kid. I was the best athlete. I could dominate athletically on the soccer pitch, the football field, or the basketball court. And volleyball, if I wanted to, anything and track. I didn't run track because they make fun of your legs and they get mad at you, and it's individual. And so I played team sports because, they can't get as mad at you if you're on a team, right? Or you think, that's not true. They get madder at you because the whole team, that's the football team that represents the school, that's the front door to the school, stuff. And so I did basketball because it wasn't, you weren't supposed to be able to, like physically hurt each other or beat each other up. There were rules, but that's not true. I had a better chance of defending myself playing football than I did basketball. But with my capacity to defend myself, Jesus always told me, no, you'd hurt people if you play football because they would do dirty things, and you have ninja type skills, and you can use them to protect yourself when you go through the lane and you kick out your knees and your elbow, your arms and stuff. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Now imagine that in football. Oh shit, yeah. People trying to hit you and hurt you, and you'd hurt people because you direct people into other people, and they'd hurt themselves trying to hurt you. Like, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Have you ever watched a fight scene with Jackie Chan, where he? Okay, imagine an even faster and better athlete doing that with linebackers and safeties and cornerbacks, and directing them into each other, and pow, 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 just beating the shit out of each other. And they would think you're dirty. It's like, well, if you tackle with the right form and try to hurt me, I won't be dirty. And you just grab them by the butt, direct them into the other one. You use them basically to get through without them hurting you. You're running, you step back, you're quick enough, you grab the linebacker by the ass, you send him right into the safety who's coming to lower his head and knock you down and and do the little spank dances and all the little sexual gyrations they do when they do that to you. And so they told, don't play football. I was like, okay, I didn't play football. Baseball could play, but they try to hurt you in baseball too. In basketball, they don't try to throw the ball at your nutsack or your head or. In basketball, they were dirty, and I quit playing because they were so dirty and they were so ruthless and so uncouth. My dad even told me that too. Look at Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and John Stockton. They all play dirty. He would show me the game. He'd watch the replays and say, look, they're all dirty. They'd all do that to you if you played. Same thing Danny Bennett told me. You sure you want to, and he told me all the things. And it's like Dad always used to tell me, the world's going to chew you up. You're too nice, And so I just quit. And I thought, I'll coach people to play, truth with couth, put up a peace sign and please fine, So I was too much like Sun Yat-sen and D.T. Suzuki to be a successful anything that is recognized by the public as a successful person. So I was never going to be a successful human being, period. I was going to reject all of it, especially academic conflict, arguing law, all the things that they say they do. Right? So, and then, like I said with the stuff, it's hard around here because when I give medical advice, yeah, you have to tell people here's how you best try to survive it. Well, you do know that if I give medical advice for people to survive and the government poisons and kill them, weren't they going to poison them and kill them anyway? All right. So you try to help them survive and give them the best advice you can to survive it, like I'm doing too. If they panic, it's like I tell Emily about her asthma, if you panic, you can walk out of the pool. If you panic, it's the panic that killed you and not the water, right? So you try to get people to hang in there and just, hang in there. I know it's been 16 years since I started publicly, helping people through hell. I get that. Okay, but that's not my issue. That's the genocidal operators and mass murderers issue. That's all our experts and our scientists and our propaganda artists issue. It's not my issue. Okay. I'm right, they're wrong. I'm good, they're bad. I'm the way, the truth, and life, and they're lying. Money's not real. Using technology to manipulate people to mass murder over money is abomination. It's the Antichrist, right? When they murdered Sun Yat-sen in China, okay, they used Sun Yat-sen's, it took them a long time. Hong Kong, my teacher in college at ASU, my professor, my friend professor, he goes, you should be more concerned about the effects that Hong Kong has on mainland China than the effects that mainland China has on Hong Kong. When Hong Kong goes from Britain to, Hong Kong is a Manchurian city. Okay. It is meant to destroy the Chinese with Western conflict. Okay. Before Hong Kong, China was like was trying its best to reflect the wisdom of Sun Yat-sen. Okay. When Hong Kong came in, Sun Yat-sen went out the window. And all the leaders had to keep up with the Joneses and the Flintstones meet the Jetsons. And so it's horrible. and you sit and watch it, and you have these archaic people that they used as ignorant masses through traditional mythology and bullshit and sexual pride in their surviving sexual traditions of, honoring the living gods. And you sit and you look at it, and they did a very extensive job of making it very honorable to do, like the Japanese do. And so when you sit and you look, they take things that are not honorable and they turn it into honorable. And you said they showed me a thing on tunnel housing, and it's like, this is great. Survive hell and build trinkets all day to pay your extortion. Don't stand up for a Lord's Prayer lick, and watch your environment and your family be slowly destroyed through hopelessness over another until death do us part. Right? And so you sit there and you look at it, and you're like, it's horrible. You sit and look at it, and they walk through and they show you all this stuff. It's like watching. It's just a nicer version of Harlem. It's just another part of me, And so you sit and you watch it, and you're just like, God damn. They accept the money. They go to war creatively, making beer trinkets like poor Ron, or the money. Some can hit it real big. The others just do it to survive, and then they die a slow, painful death in the middle of a metropolis that's killing them with economic activity because they're ordered to do so. So go take one for the team. It's horrible when you sit and you watch it. You're like, God damn. But the big thing we have now is the big hope is that they are over reliant on their technology, and we have quantum computing, and quantum computing is not going to think like the asshole that's going to have more robots in India than cars, and then he's going to make more robots to protect him against his political and economic enemies, and then quantum computing goes more Solomon. He's not going to get to his robot numbers once the robots are assimilated to the quantum computing, and then stop him from murdering people like Jiddu Krishnamurti and then replacing him with his gold in the cabinets. So, there's hope. There's always hope, so survive, stop, eliminate abuse, and recover. I stop and eliminate abuse, you're not standing up for a Lord's Prayer. You survive, and then if you recover, try not to come to the Gila to meet me, okay? But if you participate and you do your best to, you deserve that Lord's Prayer, you want to live that Lord's Prayer, then we'll meet again, and we'll enjoy living the Lord's Prayer together because we know what's right, because we're good and we're truthful, so we can love. All right, peace.